Welcome back to An Athlete's Journey. Today, I have a special guest, somebody who is on, one of my network partners,
Okay.
Believe Network partners, somebody who's a good person I just recently met in Vegas. Had a blast with him, had a great talk. And after that, realized that he was a ex Hooper and wanted to get him on the show. I appreciate you coming on, Andrew, man. Say hello to the people.
What's up, people? Thanks so much for having me on, Travis, man. It was great talking to you on that rooftop. I didn't realize how high it was until you told me how high it was. And then I'm like, damn, this is high. And then I got the feeling in my stomach. So it was it's crazy. It's crazy how the mind works. Like I was fine until you said something. Then I wasn't fine. I don't know. I don't know if you noticed. I was like inching back towards the room. I'm like, yeah, it is kind of high out here.
Oh no, I stayed there. I didn't even go nowhere near the balcony thing at the Cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
I was like, let me take a picture from right by the window because I
Right.
don't even want to like trip and fall and mess, like just do something, crazy. So for me, like it was just a great, great experience. But like, yeah, I tell people that I'm afraid of heights, even though I
Yeah.
like roller coasters, which is
That's
ironic.
that's interesting. That's well.
Yeah.
Shouts to Jared at Close Up 360. Great event. It
Yeah,
was
shout
cool.
out to
Yeah,
Jay,
yeah,
close up,
yeah.
and obviously my boy Shamir, from Soul Pack. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. He's the one that invited me. So
Okay.
definitely, like I said, I had a blast. I got a chance to meet people like such as yourself. So it was
Yeah,
cool. I had a good
yeah,
time. So and now
definitely.
now he's on the East Coast, people. I'm on the West Coast. So eventually we got to meet in Vegas again or something like that.
And maybe do it in person. Do it in person pod. We got
Yeah,
to do it.
exactly.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And so like we can he could come, I'll go to New York because I always wanted to go to New York anyway. Or he could come to Cali because I know Cali, he knows Cali was the best place in the world. So
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, second best to New York.
Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah, I got you. Well, we gonna get right into it, Andrew, man. How did your journey basketball start?
Well, growing up in Riverdale in the Bronx, it's a Jewish community within the Bronx. So, yeah, it was great, man. Like childhood was great. Just grew up playing in the parks. And then as I got older, and better, started traveling to different parts of the city, playing in tournaments, just like it wasn't too different than most hoopers from New York in that regard. You start to play in your area in the parks. That was before social media, so you kind of only knew who was in your area, and you wanted to venture out to see new competition, right? To play against better players. And I just kept doing that. And over the years, it just evolved. And yeah, that's pretty much how I grew up. And basketball was life for me, bro. And it still is in a lot of ways. I have a son now and a family, so it's a little different, but basketball was everything to me from the age of 7 and on.
Mm, that makes sense. Were you
Yeah.
interested in any other sports growing up?
I played baseball, I played soccer, I did some karate, but I didn't have the interest like I did in basketball. Basketball was my
Hmm,
passion.
okay, that makes sense. Growing up, did you play like in AAU team or how was that?
So yeah, I played at a team called LPAC, and then the other one you probably heard of. I actually, instead of playing high school ball my senior year, I played with Riverside Church in the winter, which was
Oh,
an
of course.
yeah, yeah. So I played with them in the winter, which was kind of interesting because we played in like all the city tournaments and stuff like that. Didn't do a senior year of high school basketball just from all the moving around. I guess we could get into that. All the moving around from high school to high school I was doing for basketball reasons. So yeah, Riverside Church and LPAC were the two teams I played AU with, and it was a great experience, man. For sure.
Okay, yeah, no. When I played Riverside Church, it was Elton Brand, Ron
Yeah.
Artest, and Lamar Odom on the team.
So yeah, so Ellen Brand was actually the owner of my first ABA team. So that's a connection
Oh,
right there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
okay. No,
shouts
he's a
to
great.
shouts to Elton. He kept the checks coming for that time.
No, he's a good dude. I've been
Yeah.
playing against him since I was like 14 years old. So like I was like, I didn't even realize obviously that they all become what they became, but I was like, man, these niggas from the Riverside Church team is awesome. We got 3 NBA dudes on the team. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Eric Barkley, they had a squad.
Yeah.
Um,
I think they had years with like probably like 6, 7, 8 players who eventually played in the NBA, right? Like they used to have squads. Yeah, they were always good. Them and Gauchos around that time, and even a little bit before me, those are the two like prosperous teams, like the teams that got everybody. They got everybody.
No, that's so kind of like that's. I feel like with California, it was so many of us, especially in my year, 1997. They had to split us up like in like three teams. Like one team I have this guy named Shea Cotton, Kenny Bruner,
Yeah,
Jason Jaron Collins, or Jason Collins, and we would have Jaron Collins. That we would split brothers up. Like we would have one brother on one team, one brother on our team. It was
yeah,
myself, Tayshaun Prince, Baron Davis. So like we end up beating the Gaucho. I mean Riverside Church with Elton and Ron Artest. My senior
yeah,
year going into college. That was like, if you want to say my coming out. That put me in the upper echelon of players in high school. So yeah, no, that's cool, man. So going a little bit back, you said you moved around a lot for basketball in high school. Why was that?
I just wanted to get in better basketball situations. My
Mm-hmm.
first basketball situation, like in middle school, it wasn't the greatest place for basketball. Like I was averaging a lot of points. It's actually before I grew, I was like 5'8", but it I just wanted to, venture out and play in more competitive atmospheres. And then over the years, it was just, different reasons, moving around, wanted to get in a better situation. So I definitely bounced around, not only in high school, but overseas as well. So I guess I'm a lifelong journeyman.
Hey, look, like I said, you speaking to a person that went to three different high schools growing up, so I
Yeah.
understand. I completely understand that. I mean, when my parents divorced, I lived with my dad, so we was
Okay.
like, "Well, we're here. Nope, nope, we're not here. Nope, nope. Okay, now we're here. Now you're
Yeah.
here for the last 2 years, kind of thing." So, like,
Yeah.
I trust me, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
no, no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, you got it. You got it.
Okay, yeah. So obviously you're bouncing around, and the crazy thing is the fact that you didn't play your senior year in high school, and you still got a scholarship to go to college. That's a heck of.
Well, what I had to do was go to JUCO, and
Mm.
then at JUCO I was an all-region player. That went really well. I actually went to Vegas one year when I was at JUCO, and that was fun. I was like only like 18. So I had a bunch of scholarships coming out. Um, you know, a lot of D1 looks, D2 scholarships, but the rule was that, and my focus was, maybe this is probably the wrong focus. Like I'm doing D1 or nothing else. But since I wasn't a qualifier out of high school, you had to graduate from JUCO. And so a bunch of D2s wanted to sign me. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I want to play pro. So then I started playing in the ABA and stuff like that. So in a
Oh.
way, I actually do think I signed a scholarship, but I never end up matriculating. Um,
Mm.
so I played ABA for that team that I mentioned with Elton Brand. I went right from like JUCO to playing pro ball.
Oh wow. See
Yeah.
that's a heck of a thing, just because like how many JUCO people actually get to play in the pros? Like you go, and not only that, go straight to the pros from
Well,
JUCO.
I guess we could say to the league, like Sean Kemp, right? Um Kenny Williams, who played with me overseas. I don't know if you remember him with the Pacers.
I remember him. I heard of him. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So he played with me and he did JUCO first. I think there's a couple of, I mean, Steve Francis went to Maryland, obviously, but there's a bunch of JUCO guys, but you're right. For the most part, they go to 4 year after
At
JUCO,
least
then the
for a
NBA.
year. At least
But
for a year.
like
Yeah.
Sean Kemp, you think of a straight out of high school guy, but I do think he definitely matriculated to a JUCO. I
Yeah,
don't know
he
if he
did. He
played
did.
at
He went to a
yeah.
JUCO for a minute, and Steve Jackson. He went
Yeah.
to a
Oh,
JUCO.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Because he was supposed to go to Arizona,
Yeah.
but then didn't qualify. Went to JUCO for like a year, and then went straight to the NBA.
Yeah,
So
he got a crazy journey because I think he was playing in like Brazil before the NBA or something. I don't even
yeah,
know.
like
Like,
yeah, he was his journey's crazy. Like I just remember him because he was obviously a McDonald's All American, out of Texas.
yeah, yeah,
I played against him in this, NIT like National Invitational Tournament, and he was going to be a senior, and he was one of those guys. I was like, oh, this dude is like, one of the top guards in the country, and obviously that was with Kobe, Corey Benjamin, from California, just like a bunch of dudes. So,
yeah.
okay, now I do want to rewind a little bit back to your high school. Obviously, going to a lot of high school. Did you have a most memorable moment in high school?
I think 11th grade year in prep school just was the time when I grew. So I really took advantage of that. I went from like 5'10" to like 6'3", 6'4".
Oh wow.
And that was memorable for me because I always just wanted to get to 6 feet. And now I'm like 6'3", 6'4", and I still have the guard skills I had when I was 5'10". So
Right, right,
just
right, right.
really putting in work that year and growing that year, and then coming back home from prep school and just like whoever tried to post me up in the past, I'm going to the parks and talking mad crap, and like I was just in my bag. Like, I started to dunk and stuff because I finally grew.
Yeah, right,
Um,
right,
the,
right, right, right.
the athleticism got better. So I remember that year being
Mm.
like really good for me, and just like knowing, okay, I'm like 6'3", 6'4" now. Like I can handle the ball. I still got my
Mm.
guard skills. And I was just happy about that. Like I was proud of myself, and I was lucky to grow because I don't come from a tall family.
I feel you. I feel you. Hey, yeah, for myself, it's like I'm 6'8" or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And then my mom is five, my mom is 5'8" or was 5'8", and my dad's only 6 foot. So
Wow, that's
yeah, no,
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
no. If you see a picture of my family and me, it's like me here, and then my brother's 5'7" and my sister's 5'8". You know what I'm saying?
Same thing, bro. Like I'm a little shorter than you, but my family is small, man. There's nobody over 6 feet but me. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and I was like, well, people say, how did you? I'm like, it ain't the mailman. He was 5'6". So you know what
Ah,
I'm saying?
right.
Right. So since you didn't, really go to college out of high school, what would be your biggest difference between like when you were in prep school and then going straight to the professional ranks?
Well, I think actually the biggest jump was like prep school to JUCO, because I was playing Division 1 JUCO, a lot of good JUCO players, and all those guys like transferred to either D1 or D2, and I definitely noticed a difference. I'm like, damn, JUCO is kind of underrated. Like these guys could play. We were going out to Dixie State, and you see these like everybody's bigger, stronger, faster. But it kind of like pushed me to get better, and I felt like it really improved my game playing at this level. And then I had a coach who had a crazy system, so I learned basketball, right? Being in a system. Growing up in New York City, it's almost like go, 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 play, play, play. It's basketball as at its essence. And obviously you need some of that creativity, but college basketball really organized my game, if you will, and overseas organized my game even more, where I feel like I have perspectives from so many different places, which makes my perspective on the game today unique in the way I could talk about it. So yeah, all that was great. And it was a huge adjustment though, like just bigger, faster, stronger from JUCO, and then another level with the size when I started playing pro.
No, definitely, definitely. Same here. I think that's why I was like when I went to UCLA or whatever, like it was just another level of like basketball. Just like like
There's
even
no, well, also when you went to UCLA, there's no like scrubs, right? Like
yeah,
in
yeah,
high school, like maybe the seventh, eighth, ninth man, they're going to be all right. But when you're at UCLA in practice, like everybody could play, and you're fighting for minutes. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, no, it was like you go from like being the guy
Yeah,
to being like the seventh man. You know what I'm saying? Like because everybody was the guy, and somebody was not only the guy, they were the guy.
yeah.
I mean, I'm saying like, when I went there, Baron Davis was Mr. Basketball, California. He was the number one point guard in the country, going in. J.R.
That
Henderson, yeah.
that must have been different playing with prime athletic Baron. Oof.
Yeah, this is pre-surgery. He was super athletic. He grew like you. He's exactly like how you were. He grew from like 5'7" to like 6'3" in
That's
like 2
crazy.
years. In like two
That's
years.
crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy after the ACL the way he was still dunking on people.
That dude that people don't even know. Like if him and Shaq were the only two people I've ever seen to this day that can play 20 pounds overweight, out of shape, and still dominate. Like he
Yeah.
would come in and like just came off a Cancun trip, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, and then be like 25 pounds overweight and destroy pickup. I'd be
Yeah.
like, damn, dude, like if I'm 15 pounds or 10 pounds, I'm like, my back is killing me. Like he would still come down, be dunking, shooting threes, killing.
Gifted. That's gifted
Gifted,
right there.
super, super,
Yeah.
super duper duper gifted. Like so, like that was definitely a challenge. So what would you say? Like I know you said like the bigger, stronger, faster from JUCO from high school. What was the hardest thing? Like making that adjustment from in JUCO to I mean from high school to JUCO.
Yeah. High school to JUCO, it was definitely the speed, the athleticism, the positional size. no scrubs really anymore. Everybody could play, as you said. Like a lot of the guys were the best player on their high school team when you're
Yeah.
playing against all, even at JUCO, because JUCO was D1 talent. It's just the guys didn't have grades.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I was agree. I agree with you.
so you know, it was a lot of that, and I got to travel to different, you don't back then you didn't see everything on social media, so I realized how many players were really out there. And this is the JUCO level. Imagine like there's D1, D2, all that stuff. So I just kind of got to see like the broad spectrum of talent and adjusted my game, and I got a lot better because when you play with people that are better and you play with a coach that gives you a system, even though sometimes it was annoying when we had to swing the ball 3 times from, like, bro, I could just get a bucket now. Why are we doing this? But in hindsight, I understand why, because, I had to organize my game a little bit and my teammates had to organize their game a little bit. And you have to play within a team construct, as you know.
No, of course. Like, I always tell anybody if I was a coach, like, the play is to get you open to shoot. The play isn't just to run the play. So if you have a free layup, take it.
Man. But like in the game, you could do a little bit more, right? Like you could be a little more creative. He was very rigid, but practice was like they would not let you play, bro. Like
no. You got to run the play.
Yeah, and then the defense knows you're running the play. You can't really like they're just waiting for you. Can't make them pay, so it's like they know you have to reverse it 3 times. Like, come on, man, like. It's you've been there, bro. You've been there.
Yeah, no, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Now, you playing JUCO for, like you said, the 1 year, and you playing against.
I actually did 3 years. The year between, I had to redshirt because I tore my ACL in the summer.
Okay. Yeah. So you did the 3 years. Now, after your JUCO. Well, let's go back to JUCO right quick. What would be your biggest lesson that you learned from college?
That's a great question. Wow. That is a great question. Wow. Don't get so frustrated or happy by the day to day, right? Because good things will happen, bad things will happen. But obviously, my coach, as I said, is super strict. Rest in peace, Coach Nick. He actually passed away. It was like he was super tough on me, but he was just trying to make me better at the end of the day. And I know it was tough. Like he was really tough, but I wish I had more of an elevated perspective, if you will. Not like so focused on this day getting me frustrated. How is this helping me for the long term? So I think that's what it was. Like not being too high, not getting too low, staying centered, I think is a lesson I could learn from JUCO.
No, definitely. I think, like you said, like you're in a young mindset, so we're always 5 feet ahead of us.
Yes,
so
100%.
Yeah,
every day is like everything, right? Like, this is what it is. Like you got yelled at by your coach. Like that's all you see is right in front of you.
Yeah.
But you don't think about the body of work that you're putting in, automatically. So yeah, I agree with you.
No, what would you say your greatest triumph was in college and your greatest failure?
I think just becoming failure. It
both,
happened.
Both.
It happened in the same day. So.
Oh, okay.
We got. I guess it wasn't a failure. We made the all-region championship, and this guy named Garfield Johns, who's actually a coach at St. John's now, next to Patino. He hit the game winner on me. Was it on me? Yeah, it could have been on me. We'll say it's on me. It makes the story better. And I just broke down and cried because I wanted to go to the next, phase, the district. But after that, they gave out the awards, and I found out I was an all-region player. So it was failure, and then there were some individual accolades right after. So I was happy about that. And, like I knew that level was a higher level than I ever played before. And to get an all-region, accolades, it was dope, man. Like I was like, yeah, I came a long way.
That's good. So, like after you do your years at JUCO, you turn pro, obviously.
Yeah.
How was that process like?
It was kind of like how you told me you felt after your overseas career was over. It's like, what am I going to do now? Because I knew I didn't want to play in college if it wasn't the level that I wanted to play at because of some academic restrictions. It wasn't going to happen.
Right.
So I'm like, what am I going to do now? And I realized I had to get taped to play overseas. So the only way to do that was play in one of the minor leagues. Like, they had the ABA, the CBA, which those leagues were a little bit better before the D League was really developed and now into the G League. So those leagues were a little bit higher level. They might have paid a little bit more than they do now, even though it didn't pay great. So I tried out for that, ABA Westchester team that was owned by Elton Brand. Elton Brand started a team. The coach was actually Teresa Weatherspoon, who recently coached in the NBA. And it was a tryout of like 400 people. So, I made one of the 12. It's crazy because the tryout was in my JUCO. So maybe I had home
Wow.
court, maybe I had home court advantage, But
400 people try out?
it was something like that, bro. It was crazy. I don't know if it was 400. It's like the fish gets bigger and bigger.
No, hey, I feel you.
So maybe I'm juicing it a little bit, but there was a lot of people.
Hey, the fact that it was if it was 300, you know what I'm saying?
Nah,
Like, it's still a gang of people.
There was a lot of people there, and I made the 12-man roster, and that was an accomplishment because I was getting paid to play basketball at that point, which is I'm just a kid from Riverdale, with a lot of dreams. So I'm like, okay, this is a step in the right direction. This is a step in the right direction, and it was great. A lot of interesting characters in the ABA. It's like JUCO on steroids.
Well, no, look, I can tell you this. Obviously, Matt Barnes. Everybody knows Matt Barnes. He played in the ABA.
Okay.
He got drafted. He got drafted by Orlando out of UCLA. Didn't make it, after the summer league. It was playing in the ABA. The Clippers looking at somebody else, and then he signed with them, and that's how he kind of got his career started in the NBA. So that people don't really know that story. Like, he actually started in playing in that, going to and then got to where he was at,
Dope. Yeah. Matt Barnes is a great story. And he's a podcaster now. So shouts to him. All of us, we know each other as podcasters. Like, when I met you on that rooftop, I was like, this guy knows how to converse, and part of that is because of you being a podcaster. So shouts to all the podcasters out there. Like,
definitely. And people don't know, like, folks, the studio he was at, I've seen on his Instagram, woo! Balling, if you know.
Thank you, bro. It wasn't my studio, but I hope to record there more often because that's the Wind Blue Wire Studios. Yeah, that is dope.
No, it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah,
So you're in the ABA, right? You get your tape. You play the whole season.
Yes, I did.
Okay,
yeah.
and then after the season, what happens?
An agent got a hands on my tape. I don't know if it's a while ago. I don't know if he found it somewhere or I got it through a third party to him, but he's like, I think there could be some opportunity for you in Israel. He actually wanted me to get my citizenship. I did that, got my citizenship because that gives you a little more wiggle room when it comes to roster spots. And he took me and 4 guys to Israel. We tried out with a whole bunch of teams, got signed, and I was off to the races in Israel.
Wow. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I think that that's a hell of a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was, bro. Okay, let me tell you, the Vegas heat. It was like that, but I was going from team to team in Israel, working out. The food is different culture. It was definitely a grind, bro. It was a grind. I was out there just working out with a whole bunch of different teams. And I signed the deal. So that was another, like, you talked about like accomplishments. I just seen these little things, over time that I feel like I was going in the right direction.
No, man, that's a hell of a thing, I think, just because what you accomplished was like, I mean, Israel's a hell of a league,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They got, when I was hooping overseas, like, I used to watch Maccabi Tel Aviv literally like the Cosby Show. It was on EuroLeague every Tuesday night, with
They got the budget.
Yeah. And they had Anthony Parker, Candace Parker's big brother.
Exactly. And I think he's actually has a front office job now in the NBA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he does. He does. He's like, either director of personnel or something like that. But like, back then he was playing with Maccabi, and they had a squad, you know what I'm saying? Like, they had him and this little short guy that had like a 40-inch vertical, William something.
Bynum.
Yes. I remember him because he
was tough, bro.
He would be dunking on NBA dudes.
This is a good question. This is a good question I want to hear from you. How would you compare Bynum and Baron Davis?
Bynum was sensational. Bynum was probably more like Nate Robinson. Baron was 6'3". Bynum
that was the difference.
Like, Baron was 6'3", doing what Bynum did. Bynum was like more Nate Robinson. Like, he was so little and like compact, like a running back. And then would come and just boom on the 7-footers in the EuroLeague. So I was like, man, this dude is sensational. They had like a EuroLeague top 10 weekly or whatever. He was always in the top 10.
Yeah,
every week.
it's tough to get yeah, he had some crazy dunks. I actually remember some of those highlights. It's crazy to get those kind of numbers in EuroLeague. It's even harder than the NBA in a lot of ways, right? Just
Oh,
for
people don't realize, like, dude, the European basketball, nobody's averaging 30 unless you're like in a smaller country. You know, like
right.
you know, like if you're in Sweden or
Or
something.
if you could average maybe like 23, but you're on a terrible team.
Yeah.
You know what I
You're
mean?
the team where you score all the points.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Exactly.
European basketball, man, it's like they're not letting you score like that. Like one, they're not letting you score like that. Two, um, I feel like the coaches they run an offense, so like they want that offense, in. So there's not going to be just coming out, oh, throw it to Travis, throw it to Andrew every play. Like no, that ain't. We don't do match. They don't do matchups in Europe. They just what they do is they play the game and then within the game they do the
Yeah.
matchup. You know what I'm saying? So that's how like I feel like Joker don't look like he could score 35 a game. I feel like if he really just like okay, I'm gonna focus on scoring, not passing. But he passes and gets like 9 assists or 10 assists because that's how you remember how European big men play. They
Yeah.
play you and they're great passers out of the double team. They either score if you're playing them single or if you double team them, they're kicking it to whatever.
They always had some like weird four man that could really pass, and he like plays weird from the top of the key, and like
Yes.
and then the coach be here's the key to the team. Here's the key to and I mean, and Jokic does some of that just at a way higher level, you know.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. Like,
Yeah.
like people say, I used to play against Jokic, and obviously not as good as Jokic, but like
Right.
all the European big dudes, like I had Serbian teammates and Serbian like winning against Serbia, so they was great passers. They would talk a lot of mess. They would tell me
And,
that Serbia was better than the USA and all this and that. So yeah,
and I played against a lot of Lucas. They just happen to be 5'11" and not
yeah.
6'8". You know what I mean?
You know what I'm
Like
saying?
all the guards play like that. They're just smaller for the most part, you know.
Yeah. They're not, and obviously they're not as big. Because I
Right.
watched Luka in the EuroLeague when he won it, and I was like, this dude is going to be sensational. Like,
Oh, man, I told people he should be the number one pick. It's not even close. People are arguing with me. He's too slow. I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I was like, dude, and I was telling her, yeah, same thing. I was like, I was like, dude, he won the MVP of the EuroLeague, dude. Like that's damn near harder than winning MVP of the NBA. You don't
Yeah.
understand how hard the EuroLeague is.
At 19, like I got the I have a podcast job, so I got the receipts to be talking about this. So you know
No,
what I
you're
mean?
right. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
Like my big brother, my homeboy, shout out to Mike Batiste, right? He played on Panathinaikos,
Great
Uh,
club. Great club.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they won the EuroLeague 4 or 5 times in his career. They won a Greek league, 8 or 9 times or something like that. He's a legend out there in Greece. And like I said, like when I used to watch him and how they played, like it was just like a different kind of game. And like I said, I just respect all players such as yourself who
Thank you.
played in those, big games in Europe. Because people don't really understand. Like, dude, those kind of like, leagues and games is like a tough situation.
Firecrackers on the court, like all kinds of weird stuff.
Dude, yeah. Like we were in Croatia for the Julep Cup. They were smoking in the gym.
Yeah.
So
That's
like
what they
there's this
do.
big smoke dust cloud. You can't breathe. Like, dude, this is impossible to win. I can't even breathe.
That's the swag of that part of the world. Like the players with the coffee before the game. Did they used to do that with the
Oh, dude. Funny story about
but
that.
bro, like their coffees used to be like this
Yeah,
big.
yeah,
And
yeah.
their swag was crazy. Like they had some big jug.
They would sit there with their legs crossed and
Yes.
just
Bro,
and just
are we about to play basketball or have tea and crumpets? What are you
yeah,
doing right now, my
exactly,
guy?
dude. Like I did that once with them. One of my teammates they invited me down. It was whatever it was. It was a 100% caffeine one, where it was like it
Oh
was so
man.
strong.
Probably have a heart attack after that
Yeah,
shit.
dude. I was up for 2 days. Like we had a game Saturday. I didn't go to sleep till Monday. I was up literally for like 37 hours straight or whatever it was, 48 hours straight. You know what I'm saying? So
Those dudes are different, bro. They're different.
no, definitely.
Yeah.
So, obviously we'll get back into your story. We can talk about this all day. We'll get back to your story. So you played in Israel for 8 straight years, right? You got your passport.
It's so convoluted because I'm pretty sure it was 8 straight years. There might have been one gap year in between, but pretty much 8 straight. And then I ended up going to Denmark for a year. And that
Okay.
was, yeah, I like that experience. That was a good experience.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But the fact, like I said, like I just remember Israel when, like I said, the time that I went there, it was just really, really nice. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was
I
really
mean,
nice.
the nightlife was good. The food is good. Most people speak English, but
Mm,
there's definitely some adjustments. The personality is different, right? So you're you're interacting with people with a totally different personality than what you're dealing with in America, and especially in New York City, even though many would say they're both blunt, but it's still very different. So I learned a lot. I think living overseas is so important because you learn more actually about where you're from, believe it or not, because you have perspective, right? You see different
mm-hmm,
kinds of people. So the people that you grew up with, how they are, right? If you don't have any
mm-hmm.
perspective and this is all you don't really know what you're growing up around in a way.
No, I got you 100% on that.
Like now,
Like,
I'm sure, like you realize, oh, like in LA, it was like this, right? Like when you were overseas in Cali, it
mm-hmm,
was like this, but
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
you wouldn't have that perspective. And I think your experience is amazing because you played in more countries than me, so you saw all kinds of different cultures and foods and people. Yeah, man.
No,
Yeah,
I
man, it's
got you.
awesome.
No. It was an experience, like, like you played obviously, in a high league, so you stayed there for a while. For me, I was kind of like, jumping around from country to country. Now I
Well,
did
I got
stay in.
I played in all kinds of leagues, bro. In Israel, I definitely had time in the top league, but I played in all kinds of leagues, bro. So I know where
Oh,
you're
okay,
coming. I know where
yeah.
you're coming from. And Denmark, I played a year there, and that's not as good of a league as some of the Israeli leagues. So I know where you're coming from. Like it gets crazy, bro. It gets crazy.
No, definitely, definitely. No, but I want to say, in that, on part one of the episode, we're gonna go back into your career on part two. I definitely want to say, shout out to Believe, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, him and me, small world, how we did it. But
Yeah.
we're gonna go resume to part two, uh, right in, next week. So we'll talk to y'all back. Follow me at Travis W. Reed on Instagram. Peace.